chorus want to line up. What's up, peeps? Yes, we're back again with another enlightening reasoning, just for the youths and for understand exactly what going around us. And, some typical gems that, can guide us in the society in this day and age. As I said, usually society is filled with so much negativity that the positive things and the things that should lift us up and move us forward as a people get drowned out by these negativities. So this is just an opportunity for me again to use my voice to add to the conversation, but to add to the conversation in a positive light and to take away from the negativity that is really infiltrating the society right now. So the big thing for me now is just to try to open the minds of the youths, right, the young ones among us, including myself. You understand, because day in, day out I have to be doing researching to ensure that I keep my mind enriched and to keep my thoughts enlightened, right? And it's the same type of energy I want to spawn onto to the younger youths, right? So one of the things that we're going to reason about today is the whole idea of telecommuting and its benefits, and how we as Jamaicans that we can adapt this type of framework for working, you understand, and to see just how best it can help to deal with some of the issues that we face in this society right now, right? When the whole COVID thing started and so on, and when I realized the 1 and 2 time when I went on the road before the whole lockdown and all these things taking place, I realized that a lot of people weren't on the road. A lot of businesses still continued, right? And I thought to myself, really and truly, based on what I'm seeing right now, a lot of things that used to take place pre-COVID could have been done better with proper planning, with proper organization and execution. And I'm thinking that this work from home thing is really something that we can adapt. So I did a little video at one point in time, and I made a recommendation to the Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance, right? I just made the video and I put it up on my Instagram, and I went ahead and tagged, right? I went ahead and tagged a few of the other media sites that I figure that, have some voice out there, have some following, right? I tagged the Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance himself, and boy, I don't see anything happening. That just goes to show if I was really and truly out there parading, running up and down naked, talking all sort of something, or maybe doing something derogatory to a female, right, or some fight or something, maybe that would have made the rounds. But again, this is the type of society we live into. But the thing is, I have a responsibility as a member of the society to try to help, right, for shine light on some of the things that I know that can really help us. Right, so this is where I do again a comeback on the topic of telecommuting, and the idea of that video was to reach out to the Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance to say, all right then, fine, guess what, we need to incentivize these companies, come up with a plan to incentivize the companies that can deal with or can handle a program, a telecommuting program, or a work from home program, or working remotely program for its employees and itself, right? Just like how there is a hard tax, HEART, hard tax that the government put in place some time ago, right? And basically how it is tied to the heart trust training institution, right? The heart training institution. So listen how they work that plan. They were saying that this tax, companies can get exempted from paying this tax if they employ persons, or they can show evidence of them employing persons coming out of the Heart Training Institute. And some persons think there. So it's one of the reasons why Most of the hospitality and tourism businesses, hotels and restaurants or so on, right? They don't pay this tax because a lot of them, as soon as the art people them come out, boom, them swoop them up. You understand? Let alone the fact that alright, then find they pay them cheaply. But that is besides the point. So I was saying that come up with a similar type of program or incentive for companies who are going to be or who want to embark on a work from home thing, because big man thing, it have some benefits to it. It have some benefits to it, and we can examine them little by little, right? Have some benefits to it. And guess what? It's not the perfect solution. Nothing in this life is perfect. You understand? But the pros far outweigh the cons. And all it needs is just proper organization and a proper system in place to make it work. You have companies here in Jamaica that has the facilities, right, that can engage and operate in this manner. It's just a matter of how we go about doing the planning to put this in place, right? I'm just come to you as a normal regular youth. You understand? We see these things a part of a certain industry that I figure that this thing can work, and I just want to share that with you, and hopefully you can find some value in the reasoning that can make you think twice and say, listen, I don't necessarily have to get up and go look at 9 to 5. I can even try to find a job by doing freelancing or any sort of telecommuting. In just listen to the reasoning now. So when I tell you about the benefits, because that's what I'm here for, the positives and how we can work those to the best of our ability to maximize and the value added proposition. Now, there are three categories of beneficiaries that we can look at in terms of who can benefit from a framework like this, adapting a telecommuting or working from home or working remotely, right, from home. Now, you have the employee, you have the employer or the businesses, and then you have the society as a whole, and the society speaks to the benefit of the country at the end of the day. So when we look at the employees now, what we're talking about, we're looking at benefits like the ability to balance your professional work life along with your personal life. Many persons really and truly they can handle the whole idea of going to pick up their child, but when they realize the amount of traffic they would have to encounter and the amount of rigmarole they would have to encounter going from a workplace to school to home and all of these things, it kind of present a cumbersome challenge. So we're saying that working from home and you organizing yourself, right, can give you a better balance to even work and take a little quick run depending on where, because most persons tend to live close to where the child is going to school. You can make that run and go and pick up the child and come back. You understand? And at least that alright, then fine. Helper's fee is not there. Yes, put it this way, everybody want to work at the end of the day. It's not like people are going to be put out of work. Everybody going to want to work. Now, when we look at the fact that alright, then fine, it provides even a better opportunity for productivity, because really and truly, them little clicky stand around and talk in the workplace and what have you oftentimes and get none done, right? That would be no longer, because all you'll have is your little workspace at home or wherever it is that you are in the world, right? And you can put together your work to ensure that the deliverables at the end of the day are achieved, right? So again, that is just something that basically allow persons to benefit from. Now, when you look at the whole idea of flexibility and it reduces stress, right? Because trust me, there are a lot of times on the road. Not only that, the work at home, your workplace provide a level of stress. When you have to deal with traffic and all, that is another stressor again. You understand? So at the end of the day, the stress brought on by the work environment, the stress brought on by the traffic and being on the road with all of this, with all of the hazard and so on, that has been reduced. Right? That has been reduced. It also provides another opportunity so that persons can take on multiple jobs. Grant you that you are organized and that you will put together a good enough schedule that would allow you to manage multiple income streams, right? And then now the second job don't have to take on that luxury of long hours like the regular job. You understand? So it's all a matter of trying to ensure at the end of the day that you organize yourself. Now, when we look at the company or the employers themselves, now look at this. One, it's a way for talent retention. For talent retention. Now, if you have an employee, very talented, can do work and do everything and what have you, and you're putting in place the type of environment or the type of solution that will ensure you maximize the best out of this person, chances are this person not gonna away, right? Chances are this person not gonna away, right? Because it's not only money alone motivate people, you know. Not only money alone motivate people. Money is a motivator, but it's not the only motivator. So you have to bear that in mind. A lot of time, our working conditions and the whole idea of minimal stress really put people in a good position to stay in a job for a long time. You understand? And speak to job security. So we can look on that as a benefit to the company, right? Another thing is that, again, we talk about increased productivity, right? So it's a benefit not only to the employee, but it's also a benefit to the employee themselves. They benefit from the increased productivity there. You understand? Because as I said to you, the environment with all of the socializing and the talking and the this and that more time is no longer there. It's no longer there. So it's up to the company at this point in time. If you're going to implement a program like that, you make sure you put together something. So just the same way like how the employee would have had a regular schedule at work, ensure that they provide you with a schedule just the same and for them to stick by it. Now, what you're going to need is monitoring mechanisms. Monitoring mechanisms to ensure that these people, not to ensure that they, put it this way, whenever time you want them or they're needed, they're there. Monitoring mechanisms that to monitor the deliverables that they need to be putting forward at the end of the week or at the end of the fortnight or at the end of the month. You understand? Put those things together, right? Put those things together and you can realize the benefit. Easy. Another thing is the cost reduction in the physical space, building out a physical space. Now, if you're a company that you have 50% of your staff complement working from home, you find that the need for the physical building or the physical space is not there really. And we can point that to education. If the schools, both primary and secondary, take on this whole idea of online learning, the physical space for the schools, we don't need those anymore, right? If we're not going to if we're not going to get rid of that totally, it reduces the real estate requirement for the schools. Any online learning is instituted in its full capacity in the schools. And that again is another way, that's remote learning, right? That's remote learning, relying on information and communication technology, ICT, for drive the force there. You understand? So again, to the business, the owner of the business don't need this property, not need this big property or big real estate. So that is cost saving on your end. Not only that, it reduces your utility, right? It reduces your utility cost. So now the value proposition for you as the employer now start looking better, right? Start looking better, because one of the number one thing that employers complain about in this country, or business owners complain about in this country, is utilities, especially that of JPS. You understand? So if we're able to put those things together and realize the opportunity, I'm just saying, right? Now, when we look at the third category now, the society and the country. Now, what would telecommuting result in? If more people working from home, less people are going to be on the road, right? By virtue of less people being on the road, guess what happens? You reduce pollution and carbon emissions, right? Coming from motor vehicles, right? So that's one to the society, reduction in pollution. There's a study that came out the other day that the carbon emissions during COVID-19 was reduced worldwide by 17%. Imagine that, 17%. And if we continue on a certain trajectory, just imagine the benefits. So the whole idea of worrying about the ozone layer depleting and melting away, you understand? It maybe would have start who to tell, healing itself, right? So we look at the reduction in pollution. We will have better maintenance or less wear and tear on the infrastructure. We're talking about roads, right? Roads, because the more you use the road, the more you need to maintain it, and the more money that you have to spend, right? The more money you have to spend. Grant you, Jamaica might not be at the place where we can realize this thing that I'm talking about in a very wide scale, but starting from somewhere, you can take your time and build out a model for any companies that are to come. You understand? The internet and technology is getting so advanced right now. This is not something that you really and truly have to worry about, or think about, I should say, because the reality is the advancement in technology and the use of the internet really and truly making life much easier for a lot of things right now. So bear that in mind. So we talk about the reduction in pollution, the less wear and tear on the roads, right? By virtue of less people being on the road, we're talking about a reduction, right? We have fewer traffic accidents. Fewer traffic accidents. You understand? Fewer traffic accidents. So we're talking about one, right? The insurance companies certainly save it, because guess what? They don't have to be forking out money for all of this, for all accidents. And then guess one of the biggest thing Jamaica tend to fight every year, differently from crime rate, is the rate of fatality caused by road crashes, right? And I'm saying, if less people on the road, right, the less likelihood of traffic accident. I'm not saying that it's not going to happen. I'm saying it can lead to a reduction, a very good reduction based on what we try to aim for every year. So when you look at that now, guys, and then now saving lives ultimately, right? I mean, just as I said to you, just like everything else in life, it's not perfect, right? But as I said, the pros outweigh the cons, right? And it's something that I think really and truly the government should really give some sort of credence to. So the real recommendation at the end of the day now, as I said, come up with a program. Mr. Andrew Wellness, Mr. Nigel Clark, or Dr. Nigel Clark, right? Come up with a program to incentivize companies. You have a lot of things there taking place now. BPOs coming up now. And a lot of the services there can be done from home. A lot of the services that are taking place in the BPOs can be done from home, right? And look how many persons the BPOs are employing, right? So it is a way in the future, you understand? And as young people, we should be thinking about multiple income stream, because we can tell you no more time, one 9 to 5 now, I go cut it in, my brother. You understand? Yes, the system teach you to go to school and come work. Some persons are fortunate enough to form a business and to put together something that them can look and realize certain things. But if you have multiple stream of income, the richest of the richest in this world has multiple stream of income. You understand? So the idea that you can adapt to this type of work framework, right? It can put that sort of thing in your pocket, right? So the recommendation ultimately to the government, please come up with a program. It can happen. Come up with a program. Not everybody going to swing onto it, because I know some bosses still in a one colonial type of management thing there, but please and see just how best we are able to come up with a program to incentivize the companies who would want to adopt a telecommuting work framework, right, or remote working, right, remote working, and just let us see how we can work this to the betterment of this country, and so that the young youths them can come and find a way, right, find a way. A lot of talented youths right now, right, teenagers, young 20s, young adults, talented youth that are good with the computer, good on the internet and so on. Let us try to tap into those creative geniuses to see if we can go ahead and build out of Jamaica. Even this idea of telecommuting can be one spoke in the wheel of becoming, right, or moving away from that third world mentality or third world country mentality. You have agriculture and other things that we need to better to be able to deal with food security, and all sort of things to ensure that we can be able to better be self-serving or self-proficient or sufficient as a people. You understand? So my 2 cents, that my 2 reasoning. Let me know what you think about it. In your own time, you can do your little own research and see if when me attack a foolishness or what have you, come up with something. Let me know in the comments what you think about it and if you think this is a viable solution going forward. Until then, Andre Powers, right? With another episode or another reasoning through the eyes